What's up? It's been a minute here. I'm over here at the Cathedral of the La Madeleine. So you can. So I'm out here investigating colonial magic, and I'm going to give you a quick little rundown on the Indian Removal Act of 1830, passed on 5/28, signed into law by Grand Master Mason Andrew Jackson, and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, which that happened because of the California Gold Rush, John Marshall panning the first gold in 1948, and that started the California Gold Rush. That also created the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, and the first jail ever built in Sutter's Mill, Coloma, was in 1850. The first jail ever built the first Masonic lodge ever built in Sacramento was in 1850, before California became a state. Sacrament meaning ritual, and from Sacramento to Promontory Point is where they built the Central Union Pacific Railroad Company built the railroad from Sacramento to Promontory Point, and they're racing with Omaha, Nebraska to Promontory Point to connect the two. That way they could ship goods and money and agriculture, mail, the news, all the way across from the East Coast, from the West Coast to the East Coast to the West Coast, East Coast to the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? So I'm over here at the Cathedral of the La Madeleine, and I wanted to see if I could connect any of this history of the Days of the Dead on 11/1 and the Days of the Dead on 11/2, with 11/1 being 111, and whenever you look at the Indian Removal Act of 1830 and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, in military time, 1830 equals 18.5 hours, equaling 1110 minutes. So, if giving Palestine to Israel was the most necessary means of the Holocaust, then explain the Balfour Declaration. Whenever Arthur Balfour signed or issued this letter to Lionel Rothschild promising him Palestine to Israel back in 1917. Now what's funny is that on the date 4/14 of 1948, the only two Grand Master Masons, Harry Truman, excuse me, I just got super up close there with me. The only two Grand Master Masons are Harry Truman and Andrew Jackson, who passed the Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 5/28. So Harry Truman, he endorsed Resolution 181 after it had been passed in 11/29 of 1947. The UN issued Resolution 181 after Britain basically ended the mandate and gave Palestine to the UN, and UN they created Resolution 181, splitting Palestine into two states, creating Israel, and Israel was formed in 1948. And President Harry Truman endorsed it the following year on 4/14. And what's funny is that right now you can see it's 4:07. In 7 minutes here, this bell at the La Madeleine Cathedral here is gonna go off, and this is just the beginning of the shit, because we're also right next to the Roman Catholic Diocese building that's right next door, and I'll get to that here in a second. Give me 1 second. I'm like living out of my car. I've been investigating colonial magic here since November 4th of 2023, and yeah, I'm basically waiting for this bell to go off here at 4:14 because that's the date when Harry Truman endorsed Resolution 181, and there's a plaque out front of some bishop monarch that was the first bishop of Salt Lake City, Utah, and it's in memory of him, and the date that's in bold large print is the year 1917, and that's the year of the Balfour Declaration that was issued to Lionel Rothschild promising Palestine to Israel. So the Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 528, the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, Resolution 181, and this is all derived from the encomienda system that was issued from the Spanish Crown. The Spanish Crown was issuing encomiendas, and that was basically giving the right to any colonialist to enslave or genocide anybody on the lands that they were enslaving. And this is the order of the Jesuits. Ignatius of Loyola is the creator of the Jesuits, and that was in 1530, and 1503 was whenever they started creating those encomienda systems. So 27 years later, 27 is a huge number in just the fabric of space and time, and just space-time. So all of this mathematics that they're using is very, I think it's pretty perfect. So I'll give a rundown of this place next door, the Roman Catholic Diocese. The address of the place is 303 in giant, humongous fucking letters. And the Indian Removal Act of 1830, when 183 minutes equals 303 in time, and it's on the corner of B Street, in which the rune for B is birth. So, and then the number on it's B Street, and then the number 315. And I'm like, these people are just like insulting my fucking intelligence, because the March of Ides is on 315. That's when Caesar was assassinated, stabbed 33 times in 44 BC. That's when Romo slays his twin brother Remo. 181. One eats the other one, and the fall of the Roman Empire, the fall of the Roman Republic, and the rise of the Roman Empire. So this is about, like, it's an allegory for music frequency, because 44 BC is insinuating 44 hertz. The note re is the note D. It's the ninth note, and the digital root of 432 hertz, 4 plus 3 plus 2 equals 9. So basically 44 hertz slays 432 hertz, and this whole Nazi science of this Gothic, Germanic, Norfolk runes, whoever got a hold of the original shamans' grammar and all the language of the symbols, and the inverting of the symbols through the thousands of years that we've been enslaved. So two more minutes and it'll be 4:14, and I'll show you how the bell goes off here. But back to that street, the corner street, being 315, that's the March of Ides. That's whenever that's when Caesar is assassinated in 44 BC. 315 divided by 5 equals 63. The date 630 equals 181 days on the calendar. Now, on my calendar cipher, the date 303, like the address being 303 on the building of the Roman Catholic Diocese, Order of the Jesuits, this is 183 minutes equals 303. So on my calendar, 303, the date equals 63 days on leap year, like 315 divided by 5 equaling 63, the March of Ides, 630 equaling 181 days. Also, the date 330 equals 63 hertz. Whenever I count back from 1221, the date lining up at 1221 hertz, and I'll count back, and that's how I connected time with frequency on my calendar with all my videos and stuff. And it's a lot to take in, but whenever this bell goes off here, I'm going to actually go out and show you the address and show you the street sign to where you can see it for yourself with those numbers of the March of Ides connecting with Caesar being stabbed 33 times and Romo slaying Remo. That's insinuating one ate the other one, and the encomienda system, that's comienda means 8, like 181. Comienda means supper, like, or dinner, like supper. So the Last Supper painting by Leonardo da Vinci, the dimensions of the Leonardo da Vinci painting's Last Supper is 181 inches by 346 inches. So 181 once again. So it's 4:14 and the bell's not going off. That's strange. They not. Alright. Maybe they switched it. But oh, there it is. $4:14, right when the date of Harry Truman endorsing Resolution 181. So, where was I at? Oh yeah, the dimensions of the Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper, like comienda, meaning dinner, meaning supper. Now, let's go take a look at this address. I'd give you guys a good view while I walk. There's B Street, 315. And there's the Catholic 303. And let's go look at the plaque with the year 1917. Showing that's the year that the Balfour Declaration was signed into law. That's Horus, the falcon sun god. And there's the year 1917. The first bishop of Salt Lake. These are the Dogon Dags hats. Might as well go up and look at this place while we're here. Classic pigeons flying around. Beautiful, huh? So yeah, bell rang at 4:14, the year that was endorsed, 1917, the domino effect of that endorsement, and not to mention that this is the 4th day that I've been here, and the bell rang at 11:29. The date that the Resolution 181 was issued, or established by the UN. The bell also rang at 12:29. That's the date of the Battle of Wounded Knee, where the largest massacre on the Lakota tribe happened on 12/29. I'm gonna probably be out of breath, so excuse me. So on 1/29, the bell rings again, and that's when the date when Patrick Edward Connor was responsible for the Bear River Massacre, massacring all the Shoshone tribe. And Abraham Lincoln sent Patrick Edward Connor to the Overland Route to guard the Overland Route. That was where the Central Pacific Railroad connected with the Omaha, Nebraska Railroad, creating the Transcontinental Railroad, and that was called the Overland Route. And they had a ceremonial spike put in on 5/10, so technically that was completed on 5/9, the day of the Lemuria, where Romo slays his twin brother Remo. And the ceremonial golden spike, it's literally that the mural is literally painted inside the capital of the Salt Lake state capitol, inside the dome of the Capitol area there. So whenever I was at the Capitol, whenever I was leaving and going back to my car, I nearly passed the last plaque that was outside. I nearly walked by it, and something kept telling me, it's like, go look at that. It's like, you're gonna want to look at that. And I was like, I'm good. And it's like, dude. So I listened, and I went back, and sure enough, it was a story about Brigham Young, and he sent his Mormon battalion to California to mine gold. And sure enough, 2 of his men from the Mormon battalion were at Sutter's Mill, Coloma, when John Marshall panned the first gold. Oh, excuse me, I'm dying. So that was what started the California Gold Rush. That's basically what created the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. So, refresh your memory here. 1830, the Indian Removal Act on 5/28, and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, when 1830 in military time equals 18.5 hours, equaling 1110 minutes, like the Days of the Dead on 111. 1830 minutes equals 303 in time, like the address of these people's Roman Catholic J-suit building over here. So this mocking of the people that were genocided, that's still going on. Resolution 181, that happened on 11/29 of 1947. That's the 333rd day of the year. 111 plus 111 plus 111 equals 333. Days of the Dead on 11/1. The Balfour Declaration was issued on 11/2. That's the second day of the dead, and that's 11/2 was 59 days remain in the year, like the Lemuria on 5/9. So this mocking of the people that are being genocided, and they're celebrating these holidays, and everybody's oblivious to this shit. So yeah, the fact that they played the bell at 1:29, 12:29, and 11:29, the Bear River Massacre on 1:29, the Battle of Wounded Knee on 12/29, Resolution 181 on 11/29. Whenever, if you count the whole year, 1/29 equals 12 months and 29 days, and 12/29, if you count, or the date 12/29 equals 11 months and 29 days. So it's like this. It's just this hidden math that nobody fucking was ever taught. Shit, it's like Freemason bullshit math. So, where was I at? Yeah, let's go back to this building, with the address being 303, and then the March of Ides date being right there on the corner, 315. That's the year, or that's the date, or that's the year. No, that's the date that Caesar was assassinated, in the year 44 BC. and then Romo slays his twin brother, Remo, 181, 44 BC, all just basically like insinuating and allegorizing the shit out of 440 hertz whenever the Republic is what falls and Remo is the one that gets slayed. And if you look at the word re, it's the word re, that's the note, that's the solfeggio tone, do, re, mi, fa, sol. So that's the ninth note. So the digital root of 432 hertz is 9 hertz. So it's pretty easy math. So that 440 hertz is shunning and slaying 432 hertz, and we've been in this 440 hertz frequency for a long time, and it's all encoded in all of these buildings. Once you know what they're mocking, this mocking of the dead, of the Indian Removal Act of 1830 and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, and how that equals 111, 0 minutes, and the Day of the Dead on 11/1. So, back to Brigham Young. It took Brigham Young 111 days to travel from the California Gold Rush to Utah. 111 days, and he landed on Pioneer Day. And if you get 4 pieces of pie times 4, or 4 pieces of pie times 4, 4 pieces of pie times 181, then you have your 724, your Pioneer Day. He was responsible for the Paiute Circleville Massacre on 421, on the 111th day of the year. Yeah, he was the board of directors at the Overland route where Patrick Edward Connor was sent to go guard that. Patrick Edward Connor was sent by Abraham Lincoln to go guard the Overland route, and that's where the Transcontinental Railroad basically connected those 2 different railroads from Sacramento to Omaha, Nebraska. And Brigham Young was a board of the directors there, and guess how much it cost to build the railroad from Sacramento to Promontory Point? $181 billion on the money, with no change. And I couldn't find this anywhere online. It's literally on this plaque in the museum in the Auburn City, Placer County, Sacramento metropolitan area county courthouse / museum / Oddfellows Lodge, Masonic Lodge. And guess the address of this fucking place. The address of this place is 1226 Lincoln Way. 1226 is the date that Abraham Lincoln ordered the mass hanging on he just ordered the mass hanging on innocent indigenous people labeled as fugitives or slaves because they're busy mining gold and creating all the wealth systems and the structure of this place. So yeah, whenever I was in Virginia City, holy shit, this other mining town, through my travels, I passed through Coloma, Nevada City, Grass Valley. I was on my way out back towards Utah, and in Virginia City, holy shit, right when I got in there, I went to the church, the address of the church there was 111, and I noticed the bell rang from 1226 to 1229, like the mass record hanging by Abraham Lincoln and the mass shooting of the Lakota men on 1229, the Battle of Wounded Knee. So seeing that right off the bat, I was like, oh shit, we're in for some shit here. And I go up to the main street and find out that Mark Twain got his name at this place. This is where he basically got his first name, Mark Twain. He went by Sam Clemens before that, and he was working for his brother, and he didn't enjoy mining. They like to have the slaves do that for basically nothing. And but anyways, towards the end of his life, long story short, he started to advocate against slavery. He joined this movement from 1892 to 1898 before his death. But anyways, he was against slavery towards the end of his life, and he died on 4/21, being the 111th day of the year, like the Days of the Dead on 11/1, like the Indian Removal Act of 1830, and the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, when 1830 in military time equals 18.5 hours, equaling 1110 minutes. So another fun fact, that the sun, the longest day of night, that's winter solstice, when the sun literally stops moving on the horizon whenever you're watching it from the same perspective point. And that's basically, it sets in the exact same spot. So if you're looking at the path of the sun and the horizon, you could consider that the celestial cross. So the sun dies for 3 days on the celestial cross on 12/21. Now, like the Days of the Dead on 11/1, 111 plus 111 equals 12/21. So for this knowledge to exist and it to be being mocked and hoarded behind their backs and used as genocide. What time is it? See, it's 4:29. Just being 1 minute back allows it to go through the 11/29, the 12/29, and the 1/29, and those are all major dates of genocide that are connecting with the Balfour Declaration, 1917, the plaque out front. Let's go back to the building with the address 303 and the March of Ides date being out front. 315 divided by 5 equals 63. The date 630 equals 181 days. The date 303 equals 63 days on leap year, when the date 330 equals 63 hertz on my chart. So that's just a little bit too many connections there to like connect shit, because 183 minutes equals 303 in time. There's 61 circles in the flower of life. 61 minutes equals 101. 61 times 3 equals 183, when 101, the date, plus 61 days equals 303, the date, when 183 minutes equals 303 in time. See what I'm saying? Now for that address to be 303 and the March of Ides 315 to be on the actual sign there, and 315 divided by 5 platonic solids, or 5 Fibonacci 5-fold, equaling 63, when the date 630 equals 181 days, and like the Indian Removal Act of 1830 in time, 183 minutes equaling 303 in time. The Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 5/28, like your solar plexus chakra, when 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days. So the 181 is like a sigil of your electromagnetic color spectrum. Your 528 hertz, your solar plexus, that's the only number that connects the electromagnetic color spectrum with the sound system of your inner verse, basically your inner monologue. Oxidative phosphorylation, that's the same as quartz crystal vibrating at 32,768 beats per second. That's when sound ends in the human ear and electrical ultrasonic acoustic waves begin. 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 times 8, 5 times, like your 5-star mitochondrial matrix, equals 32,768 beats per second. The number of the golden angle and the number of broken space-time symmetry and photon absorption is 137.5. If you put 5 eighths in parentheses, 137.5 times 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, 5 times in parentheses, it equals 550 hertz. So 550 days equals 18 weeks and 18 months and 1 day, like your 181, and 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days, like 528. See how those two connect there? It's some complicated ass shit, and this is basically like sigil mathematics. And another time that this bell rang was at 6:14, and it also rang at 5:11, the day of the Lemuria on 5:11, equaling 131 days. So, my mother's birthday's on 6:14, and this connects with 181 because we all have this mathematics existing within us. So, 6:14 plus 6:14 equals 1228. 1228, the date, equals 362 days. 181 plus 181, 181 plus 181 equals 362. It's crazy because my mother's birthday is 6:14, and the gematria for her full name, Silvana Menares, equals 1188, and that 1188 actually lines up with my birthday on my calendar cipher chart. But anyways, so her gematria lines up with 1188 with her name, and her birthday 6:14. 6:14 plus 6:14 equals 1228. And when 1228, the date, equals 362 days. 181 plus 181 equals 362. Now the gematria for her name, 1188. When you look at 1188 in time, 11 hours plus 88 minutes equals 1228. So that little synchronicity with my mother's birthday is something that I feel like a lot of us have this code, and it just needs to be explored. And I've found a lot of these synchronicities, and I'm definitely going off topic here. I'm pretty much at the investigation of this story and cracking these people's little code is it's comical. Oh yeah, one thing that I forgot to mention, going back to the whole Transcontinental Railroad and Brigham Young being a board member of this Golden Spike, or the Central Pacific Railroad Station. He was a board member of this place, and it costed $181 billion to complete this, and the length of the train was 1110 kilometers. It took Brigham Young 111 days to arrive to Utah on Pioneer Day, on 7/24, when 181 times 4 equals 7/24. He was responsible for the Paiute Circleville Massacre on 4/21, being the 111th day of the year. 1830 in military time equals 18.5 hours, equaling 1110 minutes. So, this is all the order of the J-suits, like I said. Their little logo is IXXI. In Roman numerals, IXXI is 911. 911 minus resolution 181 equals 730, mirroring L. Their logo is IXXI, equaling 911, order of the J-suits. 911 minus 181 equals 730, mirroring L. So the date 7/3 equals 181 days remain. It also equals 185 days in the year. The Indian Removal Act of 1850, Resolution 181, and on my calendar cipher, whenever I count back the hertz, connecting the hertz to the date, it lands on 590 hertz, like the Lemuria 5/9, with it landing on 5/9 hertz. 181 days remain, like the Lemuria 181, and then 185 days, like the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, is fucking absurd. So, 181, 911 minus 181 equals 730, mirroring L. Now, 911, the date, plus 181 days, equals 311. Equaling 44 hertz on my chart whenever I count back from 1221. So 311 the Lemuria 181 in 44 BC, right? 511 in time equals 311 minutes. 911 minutes equals 311 in time. See what I'm saying? So it's the matrix is literally the date May 1st, 501 in time equals 301 minutes. 181 minutes, 181 minutes equals 301 in time. Matrix, motherfucker. This matrix frequency runs so deep in this Gregorian calendar system. It's basically a sigil magic giant frequency time instrument. I don't even know what to call it, but the cipher that I've created to decipher this shit and see through it is all on my video shorts, and yeah, I'm trying to do my best to explain this stuff. But yeah, there's definitely a huge mocking of this 181 code, and one thing that I noticed being here for 4 days on 511, the Lemuria, at the time 511, the bell rings for the longest and the most loudest. Like, they ring the shit out of it to where it's humming super loud. And yeah, I feel like they're just doing a bunch of little rituals, mocking the dead rather than honoring the dead. It's more of a mockery because they're using this to just colonize all the stuff that's going on in Palestine right now, and just the colonization. They're still grabbing that land from the Lahaina fires, which is basically a land grab on 808, the Lion's Gate, to the attacks on Gaza on 1007 equals 61 days, like 61 circles in the Flower of Life, 61 minutes equaling 101. Now, from the Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 528, signed into law by Grandmaster Mason Andrew Jackson, to the Resolution 181 on 11/29 of 1947 equals 1,410 months, like 141. So 101 minutes equals 141 in time, like 61 circles in the Flower of Life, 61 minutes equaling 101, 101 minutes equaling 141 in time. So to top that off, there's 37 degrees in Freemasonry, right? 370 minutes equals 610 in time, like 61 circles in the Flower of Life, 61 minutes equaling 101 in time, like 101 minutes equaling 141 in time. Round and round we go in this little magical fucking spell they got going here. Is it planned? Is it just the Matrix? I don't fucking know. But it seems very intelligent what's been happening as far as the cycles in between. But let's get away from all that shit. Let's talk about some good shit. Let's talk about the solar eclipse that's coming up here, and all the 432 hertz mathematics that I've been seeing, just deciphering all the cycles that are coming through from this coming up full moon lunar eclipse on 3/25 and the solar eclipse on 4/8 of 24. So this gets pretty strange here. So the cycles of Pluto are basically like Pluto represents the goddess Despater. It's the goddess of soil fertility, so it's basically representing the feminine and like photon absorption. 15 is the number of photon absorption. 15 equals O. O is a perfect circle, 360 degrees equals O, a perfect circle. 15 days equals 360 hours. Proof. So 15 times 15 equals 225. That's a very feminine cycle number, because Venus, it takes the planet Venus 225 days to travel annually around the sun. Venus is another planet that represents the divine feminine. Now, Pluto returns in Aquarius after 225 years, but not before a 15-year jaunt in Capricorn. So it landed back in Aquarius on 323 of 2023. Now 323 of 2023 to 120 of 2024 equals 303 days. Like 101 times 3 equals 303. So why is this number 183 so important when 183 minutes equals 303 in time? From winter solstice, the longest day of night, to the longest day of sunlight equals 183 days. So that number 183 literally separates the longest day of sunlight, the longest day of night with the longest day of sunlight, and the longest day of sunlight with the longest day of night. So, from Pluto's return into Aquarius to during that year, it went out, it backspent into Capricorn. It went retrograde and then went back direct, and it was in Capricorn all the way up until 120 when it re-entered Aquarius after 303 days. So that 61 circles in the flower of life is a huge cycle with the planets and connecting with the 183 number, 183 minutes equaling 303, and 183 days separating the longest day of night with sunlight and the longest day of sunlight with night. So when you're observing time, observing the planets and the stars versus what some asshole's telling you what time is, it's a completely different ballgame. So we're talking about major long cycles that are, you're seeing them everywhere. So 5-5, your solar plexus, how 550 days equals 18 months and 1 day, or like 181, and 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days, like 528 Hertz, your solar plexus. So 550 I have lined up at the solar plexus chakra. Now, the date 5-5 equals 126 days on leap year. Now, 550 weeks, that equals 126 months. And from, here's what I'm trying to tell you. 126 days equals 18 weeks, like you're 18, like basically like 180 degrees ground. 180 plus 180 is your 360, so basically 180 is like half a revolution, and yeah, it's just half of a circle, so half of a rotation. So if we break down 18 weeks, we can look at it as 17 weeks and 7 days. So this number, once it's 17 weeks and 7 days, like 177. So this number 177 and 17 weeks and 7 days are both correspond with the same cycles. And for 5-5 to represent the solar plexus, our inner sun, and for that to be 126 days on leap year, and whenever you mirror 126, it's 621, the summer solstice, the longest day of sunlight. So from 5-5, the lunar eclipse, the full moon lunar eclipse on 5-5 of 2023 to 10/28, the full moon lunar eclipse of 2023 equals 177 days. From the solar eclipse, from the new moon hybrid solar eclipse on 4/20 of 2023 plus 177 days equals the annular solar eclipse on 10/14 of 2023. Now, the full moon lunar eclipse, or excuse me, the solar eclipse that's coming up here on 4/8. So the annular solar eclipse that happened on 10/14 of 2023 to the Great American Solar Eclipse of 4/8 on 2024 equals 177 days. 101 plus 17 weeks and 7 days equals the date 507. 507 plus 507 equals 10/14. The annular annular solar eclipse that was up on 10/14. So let's get to that. The solar eclipse that's coming up here on 4/8. So that number 4/8 is a huge frequency number that basically connects. It's the bridge out of the 12th harmonic of 440 hertz and into 432 hertz. And this is pretty easy to explain, I think. When you look at this in frequency as in hertz, 480 hertz plus 48 hertz equals 528 hertz. Your solar plexus, we're dealing with the solar eclipse here. The inner sun is connecting with the outer sun. So now 480 hertz plus minus 48 hertz equals 432 hertz. Your ohm. So the universe vibrates at ohm. The negative space within us vibrates at ohm when we're meditating and quieting and getting out of this narrative that we're all indoctrinated into. Now, 4/8 on my calendar chart, it equals 99 days on leap year. We are in a leap year right now, so it's at 99 days, and when you count back from 1221, the day equaling 1221 hertz, 4/8 lands on the number 72 hertz. We have 72 pendulum swings per 60 seconds on a clock. When you get the number of broken space-time symmetry and photon absorption, the golden angle 137.5 times 772, it equals 99 hertz. So we're in this like perfect alignment of time and frequency, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of desperate acts of people just throwing all their cards out and just being complete scumbags. And yeah, a lot of truth is coming out at this time, and yeah, I really I haven't seen these numbers of 432 hertz and the divine feminine the whole time that I've been doing this work and this whole investigation until I started researching the numbers in the solar eclipse that's coming up, and this next lunar eclipse on 3/25, because 3/25 equals 2 months and 25 days equals 3/25, just like 2/25. 15 times 15 equals 2/25. Those are 2/25 is the cycle of Venus. Its annual rotation around the sun is 225 days, and the return of Pluto being another feminine energy of a planet, being 225 years after its return. So we have this lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse showing signs of 432 hertz knowledge, when even the date, or let's see, 48 days equals 6 weeks and 6 days, and it equals 1 month and 17 days, like your 117 hertz, because the date 6/6 equals 157 days, when 117 minutes equals 157. I was reading the Book of the Law back in 2021 on 4/8, and I get to this part where Crowley's in Cairo and he's channeling Horus, the falcon sun god, and I get to this part in the book, he's like, it's 4/8, it's 1904, noon sharp. I'm like, oh, I'm going to document my time and date, and it's 4/8 noon sharp, 2021, exactly 117 years later, on the dot, and I nearly shit myself, because that was one of the probably the most synchronistic events that's ever happened. And once I started creating all this work and building the Djed Pillar, after reading the Emerald Tablets, I created this math system, and I was able to decipher the fact that my grandmother, she was born on the date 6-1. The date 6-1, like 61 circles in the flower of life. She passed away on the date 4/27. 4/27 is the 117th day of the year. The night that she passed away, her favorite tree was struck down by lightning. This whole story here is, the theme is synchronicity, by the way. Remember, I channeled that, or I read that book, 117 years on the dot. After that, and we're still connected with, this is connecting with the solar eclipse that's coming up on 4/8, being 1 month and 17 days and 6 weeks and 6 weeks and 6 days. So let's see if I can hang on to all that, because this is a lot to come back to. So she was born on 6-1, like 61 circles in the flower of life. She passed away on 4/27, and that's the 117th day of the year. The number 117 it's a super important number in electromagnetism. The sarcophagus in the king's chamber of the pyramids of Egypt, the granite sarcophagus, like how the fuck did they even get that thing in there? The vibrational value measures 117 hertz, and that it's a coffin, it's insinuating death. So my point is that on 6/6, the 157th day of the year, Carl Jung died, and on that same evening that he passed, he struck his favorite tree down by lightning, synchronistically, and 117 minutes equaling 157 in time. My grandmother died on the 117th day, he died on the 157th day, and yeah, 4/8, this solar eclipse that's coming up, I'm thinking we're gonna be seeing some electromagnetic type shit happening on that day, and I don't know exactly what, but it's connecting with their shit and all this, the synchronicity of all these stories. So 4/8, the date when that's the solar eclipse. The sun unites with the moon. We literally have a magnetic moon, an electric sun, electromagnetic, and 6/6 equaling 157 days, 117 minutes equals 157 in time, when 48 days equals 6 weeks and 6 days, and it equals 17 months and 7 days, like 117. Thinking. Yeah, this shit is, it's bananas, because the gematria for Temple of Solomon is 117, 1170 and 660. 6/6 equals 157 days, and 170 minutes equals 157 in time. Oh yeah. So 370 or 37 degrees in Freemasonry, right? So 370 minutes equals 610 in time. Whenever the Leo, the lion, the food dog, holds his paw on the sacred flower of life, the sacred flower of life has 61 circles in that motherfucker. So 370 minutes equaling 610 in time kind of connects all of that stuff. So 61 minutes equaling 101, and the 101 is basically the sigil of our Kundalini energy going up. The two ones are the masculine and the feminine, and the 0 is the prana. If you flip it 90 degrees forward, that's the tube that connects your crown to the ethereal, to the earth. So this is like sigil mathematics connected with the flower of life, and also broken space-time symmetry, because whenever you multiply the golden angle, the number of photons absorption and broken space-time symmetry, 137.5 times 8, it equals 110 hertz, the root harmonic of 440 hertz. And this number 11 with a 0 on it, you can basically build the currents of you're basically like, it's the sigil, it's the pieces of the torus, and whenever you start adding the actual, like, the value of it from like 1100 to, or 110 to 220 to 330 to 440, you can take away the value and have it just be 110, 110, 110, to where you're just building this torus build with this mathematical system that literally deciphers time. So here's an example. So 61 circles in the flower of life, 61 minutes equals 101. 61 times 7 rays of light. When white light passes through a crystal, it separates into 7 rays. So 61 times 7 rays of light equals 427. 427. Wait, hold on. Let's wait for this bell to end here. See if I can remember my train of thought. That bell was annoying the shit out of me that time. Yeah, it's definitely not putting out a good frequency. I don't think. Bells are meant to put out a tone, a frequency, and to be mocking all the dead with every ring. Sad. Yeah, I can't even remember what I was talking about. See if I can remember. If not, I'll think of something else. Oh yeah, 61 circles in the flower of life times 7 rays of light equals 427. 61 minutes equals 101 in time. 101 times 7 rays equals 707. Now, 427 minutes equals 707 in time. The date 427 equals 117 days, and 77 minutes equals 117 in time. And I can do this with, remember the address of this place being 303, the Roman Catholic Diocese. So 61 circles in the flower of life times 3 equals 183. 61 minutes equals 101. 101 plus 61 days equals 303, when 183 minutes equals 303 in time. So I've connected the flower of life with this calendar system and this hidden mathematics. And in the Emerald Tablets, Thoth has this one quote where he says, break free from the flower of life, break free from the halls of Amenti and the flower of life, and basically be free. So I feel like that was a message to figure out that this language that's been inherited by the people that are writing the script and controlling the narrative, controlling the language, they've been using sigil, Gothic, Norfolk, Anglo-Saxon runes. And when you go back to that Balfour Declaration issued on 11/2 of 1917 by Arthur Balfour, writing the letter to Lionel Rothschild, and who's got like million invested in the Suez Canal back in the 1800s. Nathan Rothschild, Nathan Rothschild was a Freemason, so for the Balfour Declaration to promise Palestine to Israel, or to the Rothschilds, promising Palestine to Israel to the Rothschilds, and then for Resolution 181 to come up in 1129 in 1947, and for that to be endorsed by Harry Truman on 4/14, and then Andrew Jackson, the other Grand Master Mason, the only two Grand Master Masons that were presidents were Andrew Jackson and Harry Truman. Andrew Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 528, like 528 hertz, like your solar plexus. Resolution 181, Resolution 181, when 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days. Excuse me. Losing my train of thought here. There's a lot going on over here. Gonna take a minute to kind of just listen here, because yeah, so those two Grand Master Masons issuing both of those acts, or those, yeah, he's endorsing Resolution 181, and Andrew Jackson's creating the Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 5/28, when 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days. That literally links those two together, not to mention from 5/28 of 1830 to 11/29 of 1947, equaling 101,410 months, like 141, when 101 minutes equals 141 in time, 37 degrees in Freemasonry, 370 minutes equals 610 in time, 61 minutes equals 101 in time, 101 minutes equals 141 in time, and round and round we go in these circles of time looping war. Now, why did Harry Truman endorse Resolution 181? Because of his evangelistic Christian upbringing. He was a supporter of Zionism. And so who wrote A Global Revolution? A Global Revolution was written by Alex King in 1991. Like Resolution 181 plus 1810 equaling 1991. Now, Alex King, he was the co-founder of the Club of Rome, along with his butt buddy, David Rockefeller. The Rockefellers funded the Board of Education in 1902, the same year that the Jewish Trust Association was created, and that was later taken over by Edmund Rothschild in, I believe, 1924. But Edmund Rothschild was running all kinds of colonization associations all through Palestine, and it basically it's like some Anglo-Palestine association. Yeah, all these Anglo-Saxons. So President Harry Truman and Andrew Jackson were basically all the presidents besides one. I don't know, I can't remember who, but they were all related to King John, who signed the Magna Carta. I believe that was in 1215, and they signed the Magna Carta, which a lot of historians believe there is a lot of Anglo-Saxon rights in the writing, not to mention that it was also written in wasp parasite shit. That's what they wrote. Why would you write that in wasp parasite shit? So, yeah, I might be all over the place with this, but definitely seeing a connection between all these Masons. Nathan Rothschild being a Mason, Andrew Jackson being a Grandmaster Mason, Lionel or Harry Truman being a Grandmaster Mason, and I'm just done seeing this 181 ritual everywhere that I go. Oh, it's 5:09 right now. That means in like 2 minutes we're about to get the loudest bell ring that this does for the day. Like, this is the loudest I've heard it ring every single day, and every day at 5:11 they do this shit. That's 5:11 is one of the days of the Lemuria, and it equals 131 days, 132 days on leap year, when 5:11 in time equals 3:11 minutes, 9:11 minutes, or 9:11 minutes, and 9:11 minutes equals 3:11 in time, when 9:11, the date plus 181 days equals 3:11, equaling 440 hertz, like your March of Ides on 315. Julius Caesar stabbed 33 times in 44 BC, like Romo slaying his twin Remo in 44 BC on 5/9, the Lemuria. That's when they celebrate. The Lemuria is on 5/9, 5/11, and 5/13. So, 132 days. Let's listen how loud this is. Blasting this thing. They start at 5:10, and I'll tell you why. And it goes through 5:11. Blasting that thing. See what I'm saying? Going off. Intense, huh? All through 5. Yeah, it's ending on 5:13. So they celebrate the Lemuria on 5/11, 5'9", 5'11", and 5'13". Why did they start at 5'10"? Because 5'10" connects with the 19 circles of the flower of life. So 5'10" in time equals 310 minutes. Like 19 circles in the flower of life, 190 minutes equals 310 in time. So 910 minutes equals 310 in time. So 19 circles in the flower of life times 3 equals 57. The date 5/7 equals 18 weeks and 1 day, like 181. 190 weeks equals 1331 days, like 190 minutes equaling 310 in time, and 910 minutes equaling 310 in time, converted from 1510. Now, 91 minutes equals 131. Now, 1331 in time equals 131 in time, because 1230 plus 131 equals 1331. So that's how you're doing that math there. It's just a conversion. So what does that tell us? That 514. Yeah, what does that tell us? That so how the Lemuria 511 is on. It's the 131st day of the year, like 131 equaling 1331 equaling 181. It also equals 132 days. Now, how does 132 equal up to this? Check it out. 550 days, or 55 days equals 1320 hours, like 132. 550 days equals 18 months in 1 day, like 181. 550 minutes equals 910 in time, when 91 minutes equals 131, and 190 minutes equals 310. 910 minutes equals 310. See what I'm saying? Like all this shit just like keeps overlapping, to where these numbers or frequencies or cycles, these numbers keep cycling through time. Like, here's an example how the date 5/5 equals 126 days on leap year, and 550 weeks equals 126 months. From the end of the Mayan calendar on 12/21 of 2012 to 7/7 of 2023 equals 550 weeks equaling 126 months. Is that right? Yeah, 550 weeks equals 126 months, and that equals 92,400 hours, equaling 3,850 days. So remember how it's landing on 7/7, the date, 12/21 of 2012 to 7/7 of 2023. So 77 years equals 924 months, and 385, like how it's 3,850 days, 385 divided by 5 equals 77. So on my throat chakra chart, if you look at my videos where it's the blue girl with the diamonds, and it's the Gemini and the Aquarius, I have 1133 hertz on this side. I have 1221 on this side. 1221 is lined up with 1220. The date 1221 is lined up with 1221 hertz. So whenever I counted back in time, connecting this Djed pillar to the calendar, whenever I counted down the dates and got to 1133 hertz, it lined up with the date 924, and I was at the 77, the 741 hertz. I later found out that 741 minutes equals 1221, your winter solstice. 1221 days equals 174 weeks, like your solfeggio tone, 174 hertz. So I later found out that 77 years equals 924 months. How 924 lined up with 1133 hertz on the throat chakra chart. So this Djed pillar that I created, it's just a tool for us to get to know all the synchronicities and frequencies that lie within us that connect with this reality. And um, yeah, so from the longest day of sunlight, from the longest day of nighttime, winter solstice 1221, to the longest day of nighttime, from the longest day of nighttime, winter solstice, to the longest day of sunlight, summer solstice 621, equals 183 days. Mirror flip that, 381 minutes equals 621, summer solstice. So 741 minutes, your throat chakra equals 1221. So I channeled this 181 frequency that's a mocking of our ancestors, all the indigenous that are being genocided, from Resolution 181, from the Encomienda Act, from the Indian Removal Act, from the Fugitive Slave Act. The list goes on and on and on of all these settlers and colonialists coming in and claiming land and classifying who they want to be basically ethnically cleansed. So I channeled this frequency on 519 of 2022, and 519 plus 222 equals 741 hertz. 519 days equals 74 weeks and 1 day. 101 plus 138 days equals 519. 519 minus 138 equals 381, like 381 minutes equaling 621 summer solstice. Now let's mirror and flip 519, knowing that in 2023, 519 and 915 were both new moons. Water reflects, the moon reflects. 915 divided by 5 equals 183, mirroring that 381. 519 minus 138 equals 381. Mirror that. 915 divided by 5 equals 183. That's one giant mirror right there. And now 519 plus 1221 equals 1740 hertz. And 915 minus 714 hertz equals 174 hertz. So the level of synchronicity that happened with this channeling of the sigil and connecting to these numbers, because the number 183 is the number between the solstices, and 381 is 381 minutes equals 621, 741 minutes equals 1220. We're dealing with numbers of the numbers of basically observing the sun from the longest day of night to the longest day of sunlight, you know? So I'm going to leave you folks with that. And actually, no, I want to actually let you know about whenever you're observing the stars from the eastern horizon to the western horizon, when you watch them come up, and when you actually observe the constellation, observe like what stars are on the right, what stars are on the left, what stars are on top and on the bottom. Watch as they come up to the top, whenever they rise above you, and once they pass this 90-degree mark in the sky and start heading down towards the western horizon, everything mirrors and flips. So there's an etheric mirror in the sky that's going on. So summer solstice 621, that's when the sun literally transits the sign of Cancer, sitting at 90 degrees on the zodiac wheel, 90 degrees square. So 621 divided by 90 degrees square equals 6.9, your actual sigil, your symbol sigil for Cancer, 69. Not only that, 690 minus 69 equals 621, summer solstice. Now, summer solstice equals 172 to 173 days. 172 plus 173 equals 345, your Pythagorean right triangle, like your 90-degree triangle, or your 90-degree square, your 345 Pythagorean right triangle. 345 plus 345 equals 690. Round and round we go. So I was born on 11/28 equaling the 322nd day of the year. Today is 322. So 1128 equals the 322nd day of the year whenever 1118 days equals 3 years and 22 weeks into time we go. So I was born on 1128 and on my calendar cipher when we count back from 1221 hertz lining up with 1221 the date. When we count back 33 hertz it lands on 1188, but when we count back 1221 minus 11 or 1221 minus 33 days equals 1118. 1221 minus 1221 hertz minus 33 hertz equals 1188 hertz, the sacrum chakra on my charts, equaling 322 days. So 1188 equals 1188 hertz. And whenever I counted back on my calendar and got to the date 126, remember how 5 equals 126 days? It's mirroring the summer solstice. That's whenever I got to 0 hertz. It literally was like the fermionic vacuum. It was a pivot point in the calendar where. So whenever I got from 0 hertz and counted even further back and got to 1118 on my birthday, it landed on 69 hertz. So I was born at 8:28 a.m. and the sun travels around the Milky Way galaxy at 828,000 kilometers per hour. Summer solstice 69. 69 times 12 notes in music equals 828. Your 3, 4, 5 Pythagorean right triangle plus 3, 4, 5 equaling 690, and that all connecting with all that summer solstice shit. 345 days equals 8,280 hours, like 828, being born at 828 and 69 hertz landing on the date of my calendar. So here's another little gem about just how things connect with this calendar here. Today's 322. Normally not on a leap year, because today is the 82nd day of the year, but normally 322 is on the 81st day of the year, and it lines up with 55 hertz on my calendar cipher. So when we go to 5-5, we have 99 hertz landing on the 125th to 126th day. So 322 is 81 days, 55 hertz. 5-5 is 99 hertz. So from 5-5 to 8-1 equals 88 days and 8. Let me try to say this better. 5-5 is a full moon lunar eclipse on 2023, and 8-1 is a full moon. From 5-5 equaling 99 hertz to 8-1 equaling 880 hertz in my calendar equals 88 days, and both those days are full moons. So 9 times 9 equals 81, and then when you get to the date 99, 99 equals 1118 hertz, like my birthday, 1118. Which leads me to the solar eclipse equaling 99 days on a leap year, connecting this strange cycle, which I don't even know what the fuck it is. I've just connected a bunch of numbers. Maybe I'm fucking completely insane, and all this is just a bunch of bullshit. And yeah, I should be doing better things with my time. Who knows? But yeah, I'm gonna leave you folks with that, and I don't know if it made any sense, and hopefully it does to somebody. My Instagram account basically just got stolen yesterday, and all my work and all my stories completely gone. I don't know if it doesn't look like they deleted anything, but I literally can't log into it and get into it, and that was basically documenting a lot of my story. And this all started with the day whenever I started researching Lemuria on 5-9, and that same day I wrote on my Instagram that we were in the ninth harmonic of the photon belt, and it allows us this like one opportunity where it's allowing us to see the truth in a 440 hertz world, and that's basically exactly what happened. But I didn't even notice that I wrote that until going back and reviewing like all my old shit. And it's sometimes whenever we write stuff a year ago, it's almost like we wrote a message to our future selves, and we're like communicating with our future selves subconsciously. So it's fun to look back at your past self and feel like he or she is communicating with you during this time, giving you little messages. And I like to think that sometimes, but yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go, otherwise I'll just keep talking, because yeah, peace be with you, and let's manifest this new world. 432 hertz.